shots tonight. Just how's your game feeling right now?
I feel good. Tonight was a weird one. A couple ugly ones went in. Got lucky, I think, tonight. Guys put the puck in the net. Bailed me out a bit there. So, other than that, I feel good, though. I've been feeling good.
And just overall, it's been a while since I've seen you in the stretch of games here. How do you feel your game's improved and your mindset has improved?
Yeah, no, like you said, I think it's my mindset, really just playing the game and having fun and working hard. Just getting back to the simple things, getting back to the basics, and remembering what it's all about. So, yeah, that's been pretty much the biggest thing. Yep, you too.
Next up, Tyler Kuehl.
Well, Alex, I mean, 42 shots yourself tonight that you had to face, and you got into a little bit of a rhythm too in that second period. Do you like getting the bulk of shots like that, or do you like to maybe space it out a little bit, give yourself some more reps?
Whatever happens. It's nice, obviously, when you kind of get that little bit of rhythm and you're feeling the puck pretty often, but at the same time, if I'm not getting that amount of shots, it's probably a good thing. We're probably playing some pretty good defense in front of me. So, tonight was a night where they had some opportunities, but they really didn't have a lot of great looks. Like I said earlier, a couple bad bounces, couple ugly goals. Probably, should have been a 5-2 game at worst. So, it is what it is.
Speaking of the defense playing in front of you, even though there were 42 shots on goal, especially in that last barrage there, you had a lot of your guys, a lot of your defensemen in front there blocking shots. As a goaltender, how do you like it when you see your guys in front of you helping out?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, not just that last minute and a half there when we were 6-on-5 or 5-on-6. It was the entire game. Obviously, probably two stand out the most. Nui at the end of the first there, selling out on the PK, and then Lash doing the same thing probably halfway through the third period. And I mean, when you see your captain do that, go down like that, it should really motivate you, really get you going. If your captain's doing it, you should be doing it too. So,
thanks.
Yep.
Next up on Zoom is Ted Colfin.
It's been so long since I used Zoom. It's been a while here. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Danielle kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but how close are you to being where you need to be?
For what do you mean?
Just where you want to be as far as your game goes and stuff.
I mean, I feel really good about where my game is at. Like I said, tonight was just a couple weird bounces, couple plays just kind of get away from me, but I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I can, win us a game on any given night if need be. Yeah, I don't know. If you're asking, how I feel about where my game's at in terms of taking that next step, that's up to management and them and what they see and if they want to make that call. But I feel really good about where my game's at and where it's been the last couple of weeks. So,
how good has this been just to get a lot of action, getting some of that rust off, I guess?
Yeah, it's been great. It was a while there where I wasn't playing at all, and even before that, I was playing every couple of weeks. So it was different for sure. I hadn't been in that position in a long time. So this last month and a half or so, it's been refreshing to play some games and play consistent schedule, and just feel the puck again.
Alex, was it technical stuff you think that kind of, I don't know, kind of got you into that little bit of a slump, or was it just the fact that you weren't getting a lot of games, or what do you think?
No, I don't think anything was really technical. If you want to look back on some of the goals, and I'm not going to go over anything specific, but there really wasn't a lot of goals where you look at and you're like, maybe I could have done this different, or if I played it a different way, maybe would have got a different result. And honestly, I think it was just me thinking too much and overthinking the game itself and not reacting to plays and trying to anticipate a little too much. I've been able to, since I've been down here and playing with these guys, I've been able to just kind of go with the flow and read and react, and like I said, get back to having some fun. When you start thinking, it's not that fun, and usually when you start thinking, you start letting goals go in, and obviously that's no fun either. So just read and react, and just try not to think too much, and that's been kind of the key for me lately.
Has it been kind of fun? I mean, I've heard it's a good group down there, and Ben as the coach. I mean, has it been, kind of just, get you going again, basically?
Yeah, it's like, it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, we had a good win streak going there before the All-Star break, and we kind of came out a little flat and put ourselves in a tough spot in the playoff race here. But we've got a lot of work to do, and as much as I talk about having fun and enjoying the game, you also want to win. You win and make playoffs, and obviously that's a lot of fun too. So we need to be a little bit more consistent as a group, a little bit more detailed, and trying to find ways to win and kind of go on a little bit of a win streak here.
Appreciate this, Ned. Thanks.
No problem.
Well, Simon, first let's talk about the big win for the team here tonight against the Central Division rival 2 in Rockford. What were your thoughts on the game tonight?
Good. We had a very good start, I think. The second period was a little bit harder for us, I think. And but we kept it together. We won, so it was a good win, and we needed that win.
Talk about your game too. I mean, you have another multi-point night here. Talk about that first goal. It looked like maybe Hirose got it, but you ended up getting credit for the goal. Talk about that play that led up to it.
I think it was like good play from Albert from the start. I think he got the movement in the zone. Then Luff came up. I saw some space to go, and I got it. Then I saw we had 2-on-1, I think, me and Hirose, and I sent it at someone's skate, and it was a goal. So.
How is your offensive game coming along? Are you getting more comfortable on the North American ice as the season carries through into the second half here?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're starting to play easier all over the rink. I think I can be more creative in the offensive zone now because I play easier in defensive zone and more physical. So I feel better now than I did before when I came here in the start of the season. So everything actually feels a lot better now.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks.
Next up, Danielle Bruce.
Just a quick one from me. With the ups and downs that you've experienced in your game this season, what does a game like this mean for you and your confidence?
I think the latest games after Christmas there has been pretty good for me in general. I feel like I've been keeping it straight now, like in a good couple of games. Like I don't have this downhill. Like I keep my game up on a pretty good level. I feel like, and that brings you confidence to do the stuff. And I feel like that brings the coaches confidence as well, and let me do the stuff out on the ice as well. And everything feels like it's falling in place. Like I feel like I do the right stuff in the right time. So it's starting to get along.
So you think you're doing that on more of a consistent level, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. That's what it feels like right now, especially. So I don't have these bumps in the road, as you call it. So yeah, it's starting to get along.
Thank you.
Next up on Zoom is Ted Colfin.
Hey, Simon, what's the biggest difference between the American League and the league you played in last year, you think?
Oh, wow. It's been kind of a roller coaster. It's a long story. We can sit here all day and talk about it. But when I first got here, I felt like I was a little bit didn't know what I was going into. I wasn't really prepared mentally, I think, just to move out of states. I think I took a little bit too easy on that and how it's gonna be. So just from going where you've been born, raised, you have your parents close, you play for your home team, you know the people in the stands. It's a lot of differences, but I think it's been a good experience for me coming here, just finding my game. I'm just happy it's feeling feeling good again after Christmas there, and I battled myself through it. So it's been good so far.
Hey Sam, what did you think of the preseason with the Red Wings? I mean, were a lot of things just going really fast for you, or did you feel you had a pretty good training camp?
If I had a really good training camp, I would be up there now. I'm just kidding, but it was. I think it didn't was the speed. I don't think it was the speed. I think it was that I wanted to do too much, and like my decision making wasn't quite there. In Sweden, you have more time on you with the puck, and here over it's a lot quicker plays in that. But I feel like different stuff you need to do in right time, and I feel like I've been finding that kind of pace in my game when I can do my stuff and don't.
Sounds good. Thanks for this, Simon. I appreciate it.
I mean, obviously it was a tough weekend against Winnipeg. How big of the bounce back was it for the team here tonight to get the win?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly didn't have our best tonight. I thought, at parts of the game we were solid, and then other parts not as good. So we're gonna make a few adjustments here if we want any chance of giving ourselves any possibility to climb up the standings here. We gotta definitely get better in a few areas, but it's a starting point. 2 points, and then obviously this weekend here and next trip is pretty big for us.
2 points for the team, but 2 points for you as well. 2 goals. How big of a confidence boost is that for you here? I mean, obviously you got the great goal scoring touch here. How big was it for 2 goals tonight? I think you do, at least.
Yeah, appreciate that. I thought my first month here in December was pretty good. I felt the puck pretty well, and obviously pretty opportunistic with my chances I had. I thought coming back from Christmas, my game has kind of been up and down a little bit. I've had some good stretches and some not as good. So tried to, I've played pro for a while. You got ups and downs, and you got to find a way to stick with it, and don't get too high or too low, and sometimes you get rewarded.
Obviously, this team's got a couple good veterans like yourself included, but a lot of young guys as well. And the team right now trying to push their way back into a playoff picture. What kind of a learning experience is that for these younger rookies that you have on this team?
Yeah, it's huge. I put myself in that situation, 11 years ago, and the game has definitely changed a little bit. But I think it's important as a young player to understand what in at this time of the year in these types of game, what's important. Because what you do down here, you got to do it in the NHL, and you got to do it 5 times better. So you can't. I think the biggest thing I learned is you can't just show up and expect that things are going to go your way. You gotta come in every day. You gotta prepare. You gotta put in the work. And the NHL really is an everyday league, and this is where kind of it starts, And the guys that figure this out down here are the guys that are going to go in and going to play for 5, 10, 15 years in the NHL. So we got some great young players here, and it's a matter of listening and I try to help a couple guys out. I think there's guys with bright futures, and but definitely it's this time of year is really important for those guys to take the next step in their career. Yeah.
Next up, Daniela Bruce.
Hi, Alex. I'm Daniela. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Just a quick one for me. Could you just comment on Nedeljkovic tonight? He came in here and kind of said that he didn't feel like he had his best game, but he still stopped 38 of 42 shots and gives you guys a nice chance to win this game.
Yeah, he's been really good for us since he's been here. obviously, tough situation for him, I'm sure. But he's kind of battled his way back, found his game. I mean, any game you've watched him play, I think he's been our best player, and he's given our team, an opportunity to win on every night. So, good for him. I've really enjoyed him. It's he's got a great work ethic. Comes in every day, and he's been a really, fortunately, I guess, in a way, he's been a key addition for our group.
How are you?
Okay, yep.
Just talk about the game a little bit tonight from start to finish. What you like, what you didn't like.
I liked our start. I liked our simplicity to begin the game, and then we got away from things. And our puck management in the second period was borderline atrocious. We're trying to dangle guys at the blue line, one-on-one, very individualistic, and just atypical of our team, and got away from what we had success doing to put us up 3-0. Then all of a sudden we strayed away from the game plan, and all of a sudden we're still in the driver's seat, but we're made it a little bit way more interesting.
Some individuals had a good night, including signing Edvinsson, a 4-point night for him, and we
Mhm.
talked about a lot about the ups and downs we've seen in his game. He just told us that he feels like he's playing at a more consistent level now. Would you agree with that?
I think he's playing on a more consistent level, but I also think that he's playing with more detail to his game and more structure to his game. And when he's effective, he's playing with structure. He's putting in way more time, being proactive with video, with just his structure inside of his game. He's now he's 50 games in, 45 games into his first year pro. He's got more of a routine developed, and I think that he's in a better place than he was obviously 15, 20 games ago.
Tyler's next.
Well, Coach, I mean, the power play, I know it's been a talking point with us throughout this entire season. It's gone through stretches of, scoring multiple goals in multiple games in a row. Tonight, though, losing on that category. How do you think the PP looks?
Well, I thought in the first period it didn't look like we ever practiced the power play. We spent a ton of time on it this week. So disappointing that the execution wasn't there, especially, 35, 40 seconds into the game, we have a power play, and then we actually get a 5-on-3 to start the game and to really get our fingernails into the game and take a lead. And we just, the execution wasn't there and the compete wasn't there. So anytime you don't have that, you're not going to score goals.
And then Dalkovich played another great game tonight, 38 saves for him. But, we talked about the guys in front of him blocking shots tonight. Brian Lashoff was one of them. Is there an update on him? We know he had to be.
He just caught a puck in the midsection. He said he was fine after the game, but even if Lash had 4 or 5 broken ribs, he'd say he's fine. So, we were joking in the room. That's what an all-star does. So, but no, he seemed to be upbeat after the game. Seemed to be fine. Obviously, things can change in the morning, but that's what I got for you.
How important is that, though, for the team to get really gritty there towards the end in a game that, like you said, went really up and down, but really bear down the end to secure the victory?
Well, it's finding a way to bank 2 points, and right now points are vital for us to stay relevant in the playoff picture. Our playoffs start really now. We've got 25 games left here, and we've got to make sure that we're not fading away, and we got to make sure that we're staying relevant, and we're playing a lot, if not all, of our games, the remaining games of our season against divisional opponents. So every game that we play someone above us, it's a chance to gain a little bit more ground. So we've got to be cognizant of that, and we've got to make sure that when we're in situations to win a game, we're up 3-0, that we find a way to lock it down and to win.
I was talking with a couple of guys from Rockford, and they were saying the division's become a 3-point division. Everyone's getting a point, it seems like, every single night. So is it more crucial now that the Griffins get these regulation wins to stay in the hunt?
I think every point is big. So you obviously don't want to concede a point, but if you lose in the shootout, it's better than not gaining a point. And obviously when we win, we don't want to give other teams a point. We were a little bit far out of it where we want to make sure that we're jumping as much as we can and not sharing points.
Last thing for me here, you got Cleveland coming up on Friday. Obviously non-divisional opponent, but obviously a game the Griffins can't take on. What do you need to work on, you think, for Friday?
Well, the power play for sure, and really just puck management and execution. I mean, there are times in a game where, as coaches, we don't want to have these guys programmed to just dump the puck. There are times to make plays in the game, but there are times where it's okay not to make we call them sexy plays. It's okay to be boring sometimes and be predictable and get pucks behind their defense, make them defend. And then as you do that, you prep them a little bit, then those plays do open up. So just thinking long term instead of short term, and with puck management, and really being a lot more consistent in that regard. Sure.
Finish up on Zoom with Ted Colfin.
Hey, Ben, good to see you again.
Hi,
Hey,
Ted.
how is Alex, what's Alex done for you guys? It seems like he's kind of stabilized the net for you. How have you seen his game come along here these last few weeks and whatnot?
Well, the first, obviously, I've seen him a little bit in this league years ago, but he's competitive. And obviously, when he hadn't played a ton of games, and the message to him was to find his game. And I thought that he's come down here, has had an unbelievable attitude with his work ethic, his positivity. And I think that that's helped us as a group.
How have you seen him? I mean, where do you think his game is at right now? I know how much you saw him in Detroit, but where do you see him right now? Is he close to where he probably needs to be or whatnot?
Well, yeah, that's I'm not sure where he needs to be, Ted. If you're alluding to getting called up, that's not. It's out of my control. It's out of his control. All that he can do is make sure that he's ready to play every game. He's competitive every game and doing his best to stop the puck. And I thought he's done a pretty good job since he's been down here.
Hey, going back to Simon, how tough is it for a young kid like that coming over from Europe and just adjusting to North America and the league here and stuff like that?
I think it's extremely hard. And, we've had a lot of conversations over the course of the year so far, and it's been good for me because I've got a daughter who's out at college. She's a 19-year-old kid out at college, and she's called crying homesick. So when a player comes and you're talking to a player, it kind of puts in perspective where, he's in a totally different country, living on his own for the first time. He doesn't have a cozy dorm to stay. Like, he's on his own. He's got grown-up responsibilities here, and this is a career. He's a 19-year-old embarking on what we hope to be a prolific, long career with the Red Wings. And he's a young kid who's learning his way, and he's slowly but surely finding his way.
I think it's a little bit of a culture shock stepping into the AHL like that right off the bat. I mean, was there some early bumpy roads or whatnot?
Well, I think any kid that comes over, there's an acclimation period that you go through, not only culturally, but just from the hockey standpoint as well. I mean, but, we've gone through that here before with guys that have come through these doors, with Zadina, Veleno, obviously not a European, but same thing, young kid on his own for the first time. Svechnik, I mean, there's a list of guys that have come through. Mo did it a couple of years ago. So there is an acclimation period for sure, not only on the ice, but off the ice as well. And they kind of, they're intertwined. If you have distractions off the ice, it has a tendency to leak into your game. And I think that, the less problems, distractions you have away from the rink, you're going to be way more positive and way more dialed in at the rink.
Hey, Ben, how's it been here the last month or so when you've had all these guys come down from the wings down there? Is it, I don't know, how difficult is it for you guys just to cobble? Is there an adjustment period with all those guys coming down here?
Well, there's always an adjustment period when you get sent down, called up. There's the emotional aspect of it where I'm sure these guys are disappointed they got sent down, no different than any young prospect. But at the end of the day, it's a profession. It's your job. You gotta come down here and find a way to get better to earn your way back to Detroit or earn your way with another organization somehow, some way. So every player is unique in where they are in their career, where they are in their kind of growth in their career path. So you just get to know these guys and try and talk to them and try and be on the same page with them.